Thou shalt make progress every day. Progress is not effort or trying. Hey everybody, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. I'm making a game with a bright, flawless white shirt on. It looks good to have a brand new t-shirt, but that lasts for you can wear it like 3 times and then it just never looks good like that again. Never. But for now, you can bask in the glow. It is glowing. There's bloom there of my bright white shirt. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it brings you a feeling of peace, a feeling of certainty that there are still some good things left in the world. Oh, God. That's disgusting. I've now correlated the color white with goodness. Alright, never mind all that. That's just nonsense. Okay, so today we're going to do a demo of progress that was made yesterday. Hard-won progress. The Bloom thing got fixed. My old friend Bloom came back. Bloom is a beautiful thing. Bloom says that in your rendered scene of your game, that if there are any light values that are extra bright, we're going to show like some blur around the whole thing. We're going to have it expand past the area of emission and basically look kind of like the same way your eye or a camera processes very bright light. It glows. It's not just the way that your eye processes it or the camera processes it. It's also that proper air has volumetric properties to it, and when there's a bright light that shines into it, since it's not perfectly, this is my theory, I could be a little bit wrong, but since it's not perfectly empty air, that light catches the particles that are in the air, and you actually see, when you see that glow around a light, it's sort of the imperfections in the air that allow it to be shown. I could be entirely wrong about that. I'd have to look at some photography in a vacuum to see if the light looks different. But anyways, Bloom, it's great stuff, and I'm going to show it to you. First part of these streams is always a demo. Second part, it's usually it's a Unity live coding session. On this particular stream, it's going to be a drawing session. I'll be making some concept art to send off to Isak so that he can make a 3D model based on it. But let me show you progress first. I don't know what to do with my volume. I wanted to have a real nice, powerful pipe organ sound at the beginning. But the convolutions of how it gets out and broadcast means that it's super quiet for whatever reason. But let's put that aside and let us go to the friggin' game. The game proper. Boy, I feel ill-prepared. I should have had Unity already open and loaded up. So while it's loading... Oh, never mind. It's not going to take that long. Alright. So this is... maybe not the best, most impressive level to demo Bloom on. I'm going to go to the Paradise level. It's just going to look a lot more interesting, because it has the apple of infinite speed in it, and that has those cool rings that were specifically designed to look crazy and glowing and awesome. Okay, so let's go to the Paradise scene. Okay, I want to make sure the light maps are done. So while I'm waiting for the light map, let me explain. Oh, there's the light map. Okay. Here's the thing I had to do, and it makes no sense at all. I attribute it to me like taking advantage of some kind of bug of Unity or something like that. So if you look at the player cam, I added something called a bloom hack. It is a second camera, which is not used. All the bloom hack has on it is this post-process layer here. And you'd think, okay, you have a post-process layer here, why don't you just move it over to the other proper camera to get things to work? I don't know why, but that does not work. I do have a post-process layer here. Okay. Let me see, I'll go to the game here. Okay. So here's the lovely bloom setting as seen through the player cam, which is the primary camera or main camera. Now if all I do, so I've already got the camera itself disabled. If all I do is turn off this post-process layer. Oh, it's making me a liar. Because now it's working. Is that right? Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. I could get no bloom until I added the second camera. And then I gradually removed one thing after another until the main camera was still working, but it seemed like I couldn't remove anything else. And here I've just totally disabled this whole thing. What if I disable the top level? Oh! It works? Does this mean I can get rid of the bloom hack? Okay, I gotta hit play and see if the bloom is still there. So I may be able to get rid of this stupid extra camera, but the extra camera is what triggered the bloom to start working. It was a weird situation where if I disabled either of the cameras, the bloom would turn off and not work, and I had to have them both. But that was yesterday. I restarted Unity. The behavior's already changed. Anyways, let's show you the bloom. Let's demo. So the bloom is producing that nice glowing effect around the rings. Okay. See if I can find you some other bloom examples. Feels a little bit loud. Okay, so this guy, there it is. You can just see it peeking out down there, but oh, here we go. So there's a bright cyan light coming out of that tower over there. That's bloom. Oh, and also M is the main character I'm controlling. M's trail now it's got a little flash to it. That's the bloom. I've got that trail just kind of on the threshold. And it looks just slightly more exciting, I'd say. here's the room that you start out in on the level. And there's just a nice little hint of bright light in these pillar lamps over here. They just kind of peek out when you're at certain angles. I think it's kind of interesting that if you walk right up to them, you won't see anything. But if you're kind of at an angle and they're a little bit off the screen, like about to go away, then you can start seeing that bloom popping out. It's interesting to me how it looks. Makes these things look a little mysterious and otherworldly. So yeah, and the trail just looks a lot better to me, actually. Anyways, so that's that. And there's just still a little more work to do. I don't feel like doing it today. To make the apple of infinite speed go through its 4 states as you get closer to it. And it gets a little bit crazy. Its bloom goes wild towards the end, where it's just kind of like threatening to engulf the whole screen. And you'll see that after I get the stuff in for it. Alright. Bloom, I love it, but now that I've proven that this doesn't seem to be needed, I have to do one more test. I'm going to delete the bloom. Okay. So I'm going to take away the bloom hack. And then I'm going to go back to the scene. And I'm just going to verify that I still have got my bloom. Still there. So the shit I went through. I'm obliged to come back. And by the way, here's an article I hate on Stack Overflow. Somebody says, how can we get more people to downvote? It's fine, you can downvote, but then they're also trying to encourage people to downvote without giving an explanation comment on the question. It says, many new users get very offended by a single downvote on the question, yet they have completely no objection for the upvotes. Why is that? Human fucking nature. Come on, don't be stupid. Why so many users demand that the downvotes be accompanied by an explanatory comment, yet nobody demands an explanation for the upvotes? I mean, if I've got to explain that to you, then you don't understand how humans work. Jesus, man. So I'm really irritated when I take, an hour or so to write a good question, and somebody comes along and they put a little downvote up here. And it's not that bad in and of itself. I'm accepting of a downvote. But what I don't accept is like the drop and go. Somebody does a -1 and there's no comment explaining what the hell they found wrong with it. So if I just put like a really half-assed question up here and somebody downvoted me, I just shrug it off. But this is like an hour of work easily just to write this question. That's not even the research that went into the problem. I even put like this extra imagery here. Anyways, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. It's not so much the specific result on this question that bothers me. It's the principle, and it's the principle that's reflected in that other person saying, why aren't people downvoting more, and why do people ask for explanations for downvotes? Because that's someone who thinks they're doing things the right way, not sloppily, by just doing a -1 downvote, and then they go forth and they communicate to the whole community at large. Let's get more downvotes going, and don't worry about explanations. So they're kind of setting shitty policy that multiple people will follow. It's like a poorly thought out principle. And they're encouraging other people to follow it. That's more bothersome to me than just the individual case of somebody coming down voting without explanation. Anyways, I need to tie this up a little bit. So I will answer my own question. Okay. All right. Tied up that loose end. Now I gotta go check on the other one that I left. Nope, no answer on that. Okay. Oh, I should not be showing my personal email. Okay, so then, let me display my iPad. Alright, now you're seeing the screen of my iPad. I'm going to do some drawing. Okay. So the creature is called the Spiker or a Spiker. I should say it's called Spiker or it's a Spiker. It's supposed to have a bunch of spikes on it. If you touch it, you die. If it touches you, you die. Any kind of touching of it, people die. If you get pushed into it, you die. I want it to look very distinct from the heavy and other enemies. I think it's pretty easy to do that. So, hey, turn over. What? Sometimes the iPad doesn't... Alright. I would prefer you go this way. Just... It's so weird. Well, I suppose I can just take this and just turn it around. There we go. So this was the first one that we did for the heavy. And Isak really modified this quite a bit. On purpose, I made the concept art not very defined because I wanted Isak to add his details to it, which he did. He did a good job of that. So similarly, I'm not going to over-specify the spiker. No. Not spider. Is that autocorrect? I can never make peace with autocorrect. You can turn it off, but then like it's not correcting when you make mistakes. Alright, so we'll grab this. You know, I already know one thing I need to do, which is at the start of this, I have to get loose. This is very important with drawing sketches. You gotta sketch fast and not worry too much as you go in order to come up with something good. So let's turn off that layer, add a new layer. Okay, so oh, I hate that pen. Where's the technical pen? That's the one I like. Okay, there we go. Alright. I think he should be kind of lanky. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe he should. First I'll try lanky. So if he's got spikes come off them, I want them to look like the other spikes in the game, I think. So that I can be pretty consistent and you say anything that looks spiky is death. When the players see something spiky, they know if they touch it, they're gonna die. They're gonna die. Other things to play with. Maybe just giant hands. What if he dragged his hands on the ground everywhere? Just drags them on the ground. Some of these ideas might be better ideas for a camera view that's not pointing straight down. Because if you have sort of a weird... I want to stop saying quite so often the words kinda, sorta. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to say those words so much. Other words like that. Basically, essentially, that's sort of like the more... see, I just did it again. I said that's sort of like the more... sort of intellectual sounding. Oh, I just said sort of again. It's just built in. I'll work on it. I can't promise to make significant reductions in my usage of sorta and kinda and essentially and basically. they're hedge words. I go to them instinctually to keep me from making unsafe statements. But if I actually have uncertainty, then it's correct for me to say maybe, sort of, kinda. But the thing that bugs me is when it's just a pattern for me to use those words. Even when I am certain about things. Okay. So like that. That. Impish, goblinish. Like an imp or a goblin, or something evil and mischievous. Okay, let's see, what about the head? Is it long head? That's kind of interesting. So from top, what does he look like? Because this is the view you see most. So say his head's really big. It mostly covers up his body. I'm starting to kind of like it. So one thing I want to do is not have symmetry, perfect symmetry between front and back on the head design. So I want the spikes to be patterned in such a way where it's easily recognizable where the front of his head is and where the back is, even when he's really super tiny and far away. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. I don't want to be overly specific, so I'm not going to add much more detail than this. I'm going to try to make one more version of this that is following what I just did, but let's make it a little cleaner so it's easier for Isak to follow it. Start out. I think let's go with a gray to start, so I can kind of sketch a little bit. I can fill it in with black afterwards. Okay. It's kind of a childlike body with a, oh, why did I say kind of? A childlike body. Well, I guess it is kind of a childlike body. Not really all the way a childlike body. So maybe I am using the word correctly. Definitely a childlike head. I suppose if I say childlike, if I say the word like in it, then it's redundant to also add kinda or sort of. See if I'm still talking the same stupid way a month from now. A little challenge for myself. I do kind of like those shoulders coming up a little bit. See, it's so hard for me to break free of it. I do kind of like. Do I like it or do I not? Who would be the authority on whether I like it? Me. Who should have the most certainty on whether something is liked by me or not? Me. So why would I say I kind of like something? That lack of precision. It's so maddening. It's not kind of maddening, it's maddening. Give him a big smile, which should make him more sinister. Little baby teeth. Okay, and I feel like he does need some little spikes all over his body. You know, I'll add that with the black pen when I come back and touch this up. Okay. So then the other view is the top-down view. Okay. Let's go. Let's have his head. Do most of it like that. The shoulders can come out here. Whoa. So let's go one more pass over the top and put black ink on it. So I think that Isak likes to add clothing to the models, which is fine. It's actually good. I kind of don't want to specify the clothing. So I think the details that he adds there are usually pretty good. I say usually. I've worked with him only one time. I suppose the models that he made before then are also another example. I'm just obsessed with hedge words and my over-reliance on them. So if I say usually, so I'm hedging all the time. I suppose you could go the opposite direction and you could speak in such absolutes as a pattern that you'd be constantly making over-assertive statements that go beyond your level of certainty. That would be another extreme to fall prey to. Maybe I should go easier on myself because I'm distracted with other work that I'm doing. If all I was doing was talking and not doing work as well at the same time, I would probably speak much better. Conversely, if all I was doing was working and not talking, I would probably work much better. Maybe not. One thing I like about my first interaction with Isak is that he hit the right balance of using my concept art to inform his design and going off beyond it to add his own creativity to the design that he gave me. So the heavies is good that way. I think we've got the collaboration balance set right. He's taking when I give him his input, but he's adding his own ideas to it, which is perfect. Okay, I'll make this guy smaller. I feel like he should be smaller. Oh, I forgot, I want to add some more spikes on him too. Not a ridiculous amount, just enough to show that he's kind of spiky all over. Like there's no safe part of him. If you touch him, you're in trouble. So I'm drawing Henry next to the spiker to give a sense of proportion. The spiker should be maybe a little smaller, but a little bit wider. Okay. Color on him. I think I want his skin to be metallic. The reasoning my reason is that the spikes elsewhere in the level are metallic. And I'd like the player to notice that they're made from the same material. Okay. So forget, how did I send this to myself? Oh, airdrop. That's how I did it. I can't remember. Is it 2? Yeah, it's 2. Okay. Okay, done with the iPad, done with the drawing. So let's exit out of this whole mirroring thing. And that should be the end of that. I should really be more careful about showing my personal screens to you, but thankfully there wasn't anything worrying on that. You might have noticed my wedding vows and my wedding plan. I got married recently. That's what was happening with me. Okay, let's take this guy, bring it over into... Where's my Photoshop? You always say that, but then you just work, which is great. Create new. From the clipboard. Okay. That's pretty good. I don't know if I need much more. Oh, I know one thing I would like to do. Let's get a screen capture of some spikes. I got some spikes over here. I've got stupid maximize on play. Now, okay, pretty close here. fact, I think this is good enough to send. Okay. So I'll save this. Man, I look good in a bright white t-shirt. I didn't think I looked this good, but I do. A few more comments. Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Alright, folks. Wrapping this up. End of a session. Session coming to an end. Stopping the stream. Mission accomplished. See y'all later.